how does 50% of women entering the system at the lowest level translate into 2 judges at the Supreme Court, which is 2 out of 31 plus judges. So there's clearly something wrong in the funneling process. And I think that's the primary question that this data study invites. 2 kinds of things could be happening. One is that women are either dropping out as they go up the ladder, or 2, women are not getting selected. Now, both of these can be addressed through policy and structural changes. I think that's essentially the trail of thought that this study invites, which I hope other people will pick up on and do further research on.
Eligible and ineligible farmer suicide. This is the categorization of farmer suicides, unfortunately done, I think, only in Maharashtra and not in the other states. Because several cases, they are recorded as ineligible farmer suicide. So why this ineligibility of this farmer suicide tag is introduced by government of Maharashtra is, I think, for 2 things. One is to save the amount of 1 lakh rupees given to the family of a victim, and number 2, to reduce the number of cases as farmer suicide, because total farmer suicides, eligible farmer suicides and ineligible farmer suicide are 3 different categories. The total of these eligible and ineligible suicides is never comes as equal to the total farmer suicide, because a large number of suicides in Maharashtra are categorized as ineligible farmer suicides.
We have had this major improvement in Indian scholarship on inequality and education, that we have started taking caste seriously. However, many people who work on caste and education, caste and inequality, they actually perhaps are not taking class as seriously as it should. How do we conceive and conceptualize of what is caste and what is class? We have to do theoretical work and empirical work both. We have to think of these as generative processes, not as a fixed, frozen structure, but there's a logic to caste that we have to identify. There's a generative logic to class inequality, which is different from this. We need to begin to see like that. And that is a shift we need to make.
The nature of war is such that it could escalate. Obviously, then venture down a route we wouldn't wish to go, especially if the fear of escalation is there. Consequently, in the article, one takes cognizance of India's wariness for escalation. But all one points out in that particular article is that, look, escalation is fine. We really must avoid war, but not one that is forced on us. Therefore, we need to also manipulate escalation for our own purposes, for our own strategic ends, and allow the onus of escalation to pass on to the other side, and thereby forcing it to step down.
This research paper primarily focuses on the structural change in the Indian economy, and what it has diagnosed and concluded that the structural change in the context of Indian economy is less than the structural change in the other developing economies, including Vietnam, China, Indonesia. So what does it imply? It implies that the kind of growth and productivity which could have been obtained out of the structural change could not be obtained because of the less structural change in the Indian economy. So that kind of productivity gain and the growth is missing in the context of Indian economy.